First of all, I'd just like to thank everyone for a fantastic end to the season. In the last couple of days we've gained 360 subscribers on the channel, taking us over 1,000, so thank you everyone who's subscribed and who's watched the videos over this season. Also a thanks to Sam for Adventures for having me on his channel on Saturday. Although we get beat 6-0, I did still manage somehow to enjoy my day out, and seeing all the positive feedback in the comments in Sam's video is really nice to see, so thanks for the kind words. And I know that I can't just go to Motherwell games, so tonight we're off to Pollok versus Clydebank in the West of Scotland League Cup quarter final. Pollok have just installed new floodlights, so they'll be trying them out for the first time tonight, and I've been told that they've put in a new disabled section as well, so let's go and check that out and see what improvements Pollok are trying to make for the disabled fans.
My name's Collie Doug,
and how
known as Shug.
Collie Doug.
I'm a Pollok fan. I reckon Pollok will win 2-1, under the lights.
Under the lights, you looking forward to using the new floodlights for the first time?
Very much looking forward to about 9:45 when hopefully it'll be dark.
I know, pity they couldn't get it done in the winter, but timing and stuff. And do you think you can win the West of Scotland League Cup?
Yes.
Just behind me here at the benches is where Pollok used to house up disabled fans for every home game here at Wosfl. My dad used to be a coach here at the stadium, and one of the big problems with being down at the benches was the steps just to the side of it, and it was a standing section, and people can sometimes burn forward when there's chances and stuff, which obstructs your view if the ball is down the far end. But what they've done now is they've moved it to behind the goal, where they've kind of created a new kind of a platform, took away some of the steps where you just go in and sit there. We'll get a much better view and a better breakdown of that a little bit later on. But I have sampled one game here at Wosfl, which is against Clydebank, and it's a much better view. The whole park opens up to you, so I'm really looking forward to a good game between two good sides tonight. I think that's one thing that I learned from my dad's time here at Pollok, is that the standard of football is still pretty good at this level, so although it's training, it's no dampening my spirits too much, and I'm hoping to see a good game later on. Another thing that we can often forget about when talking about disabled facilities and what it's like for disabled fans is toilets, and I'd imagine for Pollok, for Blackpool and the size of Pollok, it can be quite difficult trying to facilitate disabled facilities around old stadiums like the Wosfl. So it's good to see the Pollok here. They've installed a ramp here. This didn't always used to be here, by the way, when I first came on the ground. So they've installed this ramp to take you up here and into the disabled toilet just beside me. So let's go inside and have a look. So here we are inside Pollok's disabled toilet. I mean, one thing you look for is a plenty space for me to turn my wheelchair. So can I turn my wheelchair like this? Yep, I can turn it in a full 360, as you can see, so it's good that there's enough room for that. They've got the bars there for you to hold on if you need to, and then in case anything goes wrong, which it doesn't usually, they've got the alarm there as well. So it's a very, very good system that Pollok have here. It actually reminds me of the toilets that you get at music festivals, so very, very good job from Pollok. Plenty of space, plenty of room for you to move about, exactly what you look for from a disabled toilet. No, I'm not waiting on the 267 or a bus. I'm here inside Pollok's brand new disabled shelter. It's good to see that they've got a wee bit of covering for the roof, because it is a wet night tonight. And as I says, here you're behind the goal, but what's good about it is the pitch just opens up right out to you, and you're only a short distance from the disabled toilet, which is just over there as well. The only thing I'm worried about is how good the Pollok strikers are tonight, because any stray shots it might not be good looking, so here's hoping that I don't get scared with a ball. But no, I'm dry, I've got a great view of the game. What more can you ask for? And that's great to see clubs like Pollok, a smaller club in the scheme of Scotland, but a big club locally, trying to make improvements for disabled supporters, and that's what we want. We want clubs to be proactive. And Pollok, what I've seen here from Pollok today is more than what you see from some bigger clubs in their stadiums. So if clubs like Pollok can do this, what's stopping bigger clubs from doing the same? Absolutely fantastic.
Hi, I'm Jane and this is...
I've heard about you, Jamie. You're a wee bit of a Pollok super fan. I've heard. I seen the post at the weekend. You got Brownlee's shot at the weekend. Were you happy with that? Yes. And Jane, you were just highlighting. I'm saying here about the new disabled facilities at Pollok. Obviously, you come here every week. Just how much better the views found it.
This is so much better. As you had said, when you used to come, you were in the corner and you couldn't really see the game very well. Whereas at least here, Jamie's got a great spot to see it. He's been to loads of other clubs in the local area following Pollok, and just recently he was at the Kilmarnock game. They were amazing, absolutely. The staff were amazing. They couldn't do enough for him, but there was no facilities. There was no disabled toilet. There was no place for him to get close to the goal.
Shocking.
And they didn't know because they don't have any disabled fans.
And I'm not saying shocking to the club Campbell. I think that there should be more pressure on councils and local authorities to ensure that these clubs have the funding to provide the facilities for disabled supporters.
100%. And the problem I think is if you don't know somebody that's disabled or you're not disabled yourself, you don't think. I've been working with Jamie for 6 months, and prior to that I didn't notice lack of wheelchair access anywhere, whereas now when I'm out, because I know, I see it everywhere.
Yeah.
But there definitely needs to be more publicity for everything, not just football, but for absolutely everything for people that are disabled. I think people call it ignorance, but for me it's just lack of education, and that's what we're trying to do with the channel, is educate folk. Joined here by Kevin. Kevin, what are your thoughts on the game tonight?
I'm nervous about tonight, but however, Clydebank always put up a tough performance against us, but we've got the ability. If we put ourselves against any 11 in the league and we turn up, I don't have any difficulty in seeing us getting a result. But the first goal's all important.
Yeah, and obviously, good start to the season for these 26 games unbeaten he's went, and cheers to Ross's grander for that step, by the way. And then it kind of fell away. So how do you reflect on the season?
Looking back on the season, it's all going to be about actually how we do next year. The foundations are set for a fantastic year next year. We've put our faith in the manager, we've given him a 4-year deal. Dale Esplin, our player of the year, has been given a new contract today. We've got the foundations of a right good team. Well, we did fall away. We should put ourselves in a very good place for next year, and that's what we're all hoping for.
Wait to hear it. What about the West of Scotland League Cup then? That's the competition we're in tonight. Will you go on and win it?
It would be lovely to beat. I would love to meet Davil in the final, and the Clydebank sponsor. It would be sweet to finish to win it against them. However, it's a hard game tonight. We'll just deal with tonight first.
And new Floodlights as well. You look forward to plenty of nights under the lights here in Newlandsfield.
Well, I hate to quote a good book, but the lights always shine on the righteous, and that's what we are here.
Thank you very much, Kim.
No bother.
And here come the Bankies. Oh! Clydebank have made a real fast start, and they almost make it 1-0 early on. It was a cross into the box that Longwell looked as if he was going to come and claim, and the striker limped in and headed it beyond him. It looked as if it was going to go into an empty net, but thankfully for Pollok it just dropped wide. It remains here at Newlandsfield 0-0. Pollok defends really at 6 and 7. It's another corner. Oh! I don't know how that stayed out, but it's still wobbling about, and eventually it's cleared. Well done, Big Joe. I don't know if the Pollok boys heard me, because Chris Duff decides that he was going to take the game in his own hand. He wins a free kick, and Evan Horn has a shot that stings the palms of the goalkeeper. And just before that, Duff had another shot with the goalie parry, but Ford couldn't pounce on the rebound. So Pollok really starting to come back into the game now, and there was a good run from Matty Grant, but his through ball evaded everybody, so aye, Pollock's showing a bit of fight, but with the main goalist here. Calling up Pollok after a trademark diagonal Brian Walton pass. Good boy. Oh, I don't know why you're looking at somebody on top of the goalkeeper there challenging. Still alive though. Come on, Pollok. They're back in. Oh, it's a great save by the goalkeeper. Couple of chances there. Firstly for Clydebank, it was a good cross into the box and former Pollok man McLeod just couldn't get his foot to it. And then Pollok go up there and then Christoph they have a shot and now it's went behind for the corner to Pollok. Come on, Pollok! Hit it! Oh. Chance for Pollok there, but I was just about to update he's on a sub and I had him folded, just couldn't get his foot to the ball and find the bottom corner, but a big loss. Matty Grant's had to go off with an injury and he's been replaced by Menzies. Matty Grant, one of the shining lights for Pollok this season, so his driving runs, I'm sure that they'll miss that throughout the game. It can be quite creative from right back too, so big loss for Pollok. And for the first time here at Newlands Field, Floodlights are on. Half time here at Newlands Field, Pollok nil, Clydebank nil. Not much in the way of chances, there's been a couple for either side. Nicky Little having a couple for the away side, one that he headed wide and then one that he tried to poke into the net but just couldn't get a full connection on it. And then the real highlight, the real star man for Pollok this evening has been the boy Christoph. I think he's tried to commit players, he's forced a couple of saves for the Pollok keeper as well as a header for Adam Ford, which you seen as well. So there's been a few chances, but apart from that it's been a pretty boring affair. Let's hope in the second half we can get a goal. And here we have it, full Floodlights for the first time ever here at Newlands Field. The grounds, I know the ground, but it's good to see them making the improvements in the Floodlights and the improvements in the disabled section as well. Fantastic, it's a club definitely moving in the right direction, I think it's safe to say that. Corner Clydebank. Right at the start of the second half, it is worked in. The goalkeeper likes to punch it. Now can Pollok break? There's a chance here to be, oh, he looked the wrong way. Oh! I think he was at the other side. He substitute Menzies was running in, but he opted to go to his right. One thing that I have noticed about Pollok's play, and I noticed that the last time against Clydebank, they seem to be playing a lot of long balls, and I just look at the two centre halves and Derek and Niven. Niven's about 6'7", very, very comfortable in there. It seems crazy to be playing long balls when they should be looking to slip in behind them, if you ask me, and try and run them. But Clydebank looking very comfortable. They nearly go close at getting me a cross, but nobody did the poke at home. Big shout out to Pollok here. I know I highlighted it earlier, but I don't know if you can see how well you can see on the vlog, but the rain's really starting to come down, but we are being kept dry by the shelter above us, so thank you very much to Pollok for the new facilities, because otherwise I'd be absolutely soaked right through. Come on! Oh, that's... Oh, never ref! Oh, I think the referee's bottled it there.
Look at the fucking size of him! Jesus Christ! He's about fucking twice the medium! Twice the medium!
I think the referee's bottled it there. Good cross. Oh. Tell you what, I like to look at this guy, Campbell Cross. Come on. He looks really, really lively.
Thank goodness for the rain.
Oh, good save.
Good save.
I have to say, I think it's really brightened up second half, the introduction of Campbell Crawl. He's been running the Clydebank fullback ragged since he's come on, and then Johnny Line has a shot to test the Clydebank goalie. Pollok really good second half, they really took the game to Clydebank. I think all that's missing really for the performance is a goal. I mean, we complained in the first half that it was a bit dull, but I'm really enjoying the second half. Pollok have a free kick.
In a way it's
anything coming this?
He's not got to any players, he's trying to keep the game flowing, but sooner or later he's got to get somebody.
Got a tin.
Comes back.
Oh, it's a tin! Gets his head to the ball! And here's Pollok and the away will get it 10 minutes to go! 1-0! Oh, what a goal! What a heaven! Oh, one here! By a goal to now in the second half performance for the way it deserved Joined here by head groundsman Campbell McLeod here at Pollok. Campbell, what are your thoughts on the game first night tonight?
Oh, superb, a great result. It was well deserved in the end, I thought. First 20 minutes or so, maybe Clydebank could be better of us, but we got there in the end, so happy, yeah.
And you feeling confident heading into the semi-final that you can go on and
You have to be confident, don't you? I mean, I think this is probably the toughest one. So, aye, of course.
Big night for you, see that Pollok obviously using the Floodlights for the first time. Can you just take me back to the initial, the start of getting the funding for the Floodlights and the process? How did it all come about?
The process has been on for many years, and it was probably Ian McFarlane who started the whole thing, the whole ball rolling. We knew that we had to get the SFA licence, but funding was always a difficult thing to get. We knew also that we had to get toilets put in because we've been ignoring it for so long, and what we had was primitive. So we had a wee look at how we could do it, and we managed to do it, and thankfully the fans dug in the pockets. The 20 grand that was raised was brilliant. Obviously it's costing us an awful lot more than that, but we managed to put the funding in place and we managed to get to where we are just now.
And obviously over the years here at Wosfl, what difficulties have you faced as a groundsman? When not having floodlights, how have you had to adapt? Was it maybe different?
Nothing, not having floodlights is good because it means you can't play midweek games. So
any
groundsman doesn't want to let their part played on. And you know, it's going to be better now, isn't it? Because you're not squeezing, hopefully you're not going to squeeze 3 games in a week towards the end of the season if you can play midweek during the winter. So it's definitely a benefit to us, without a doubt.
And obviously you've got the new disabled shelter just over there.
Yeah,
did that kind of come in along with the floodlights, or was it?
Yeah, well again, we knew we had to do that. The reason it's over there actually was Scott that came up with that idea, because we were going to put it there, but then when we saw the floodlight in place and the control gear and all the rest of it, we realised it's really tight with the ramp and all the rest of it. So we had to pump concrete when we dug the foundations. When the contractors dug the foundations out, there was a shed load of concrete in under there. So that was all pumped in, and we knew that was going to be done. We thought, or Scott thought, why don't we put the disabled shelter there and then we can pump concrete in, level off those steps, and it's good, I think. Because you're just coming in from there, straight into the shelter,
right over
toilets
the
there, disabled parking bays outside, so it does seem to work.
I think the thing for me is as well is that you look at it and the whole park opens up to you now. When you were here, looking down that line, obviously because that's a standing section, you used to get people in front of you a lot, so it's good to see clubs like Pollok being proactive and trying to make a difference for the disabled.
And then, you know, sometimes it just takes that little bit of extra thought, because the disabled shelter was always going to be an issue for us, because all the grounds are fair size. There's not a fair bit of level ground, level land. You know, this is the only bit that's level, and it's now bidded. So Scott's idea of putting it there really, to me, worked really well, and hopefully you're enjoying it then.
I did enjoy it. But thank you very much, and all the best for the rest of the season, the couple of games that hopefully lift, and the next season as well.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Full time here at Wosfl, it ends Pollok 1, Clydebank 0, and it's Pollok who will go through to the semi-final of the West of Scotland Football League Cup. My thoughts, let's start off with the rating. As always, I thought I'd do them live here, since we're using 2 cameras tonight. I'll start off with the facilities. Absolutely fantastic. I showed you the toilets. I showed you that disabled fans are now covered. There's plenty of space for you to get in and out. You can see the game. So when you think of a club at Pollok's size and what they have to work with here at Wosfl, I can only give them a 10 out of 10, because they're doing everything that they can here to make sure that the disabled supporters have the best experience of the week, so that's all that we ask for. So 10 out of 10 for the facilities, absolutely fantastic, guys. On to the atmosphere. I thought Wednesday night under the lights, the Floodlights was getting turned on. I thought it would have been a bit more atmospheric. I don't think there was as good a crowd as I would have hoped. I mean, it did sound quite lively over there, but I can only touch on it from where I'm sitting, and I never really felt any of it. So, sorry, I'm only going to give my atmosphere a 3 out of 10. I didn't really feel any of it. The refereeing performance, I thought there was a couple soft decisions in there for me. There was a couple of free kicks that he gave to Clydebank that I don't think were free kicks, and Pollok would have seen themselves in good positions. So he was a bit weak, I think, and I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. And finally, on to the game itself. I thought first half there was a couple of chances for either side, but nobody could really take them. I thought the game really came into life in the second half. I thought with the introduction of Campbell, you could see the Pollok defence really frightened, the Clydebank defence rather, really frightened of his pace, and Pollok looked very, very dangerous on the counter. The game livened up second half. I enjoyed it under the lights here tonight, so I'm giving the game a 7 out of 10. So what's that? That's 25 out of 40 for the experience here at Wosfl. Thank you very much to Pollok for their great facilities here and giving me access to everything. The hospitality, which was the word I was looking for, has been outstanding. I think that's something that you see here at smaller clubs, that you get a lot more access than what you would at the bigger clubs. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. The next one coming up on the channel will be Scotland versus Ukraine in the playoffs, so I will see you for that one. And keep your eye out later in the week for a wee combined 11 that I'm sure that you'll be interested in. So thank you very much, guys, and please click subscribe if you can, and I'll see you in the next one.